Wow, this is really the worship summit's just going smoothly. I'm so glad we did Zoom events this year.
I really am appreciating sort of the open forum that we have. It's able to be laid back and also just sort of have that two-way communication with the speakers. An event is something that you don't usually get on like a live stream or even an in-person
Why
event.
am I feeling kind of like nervous, Tess? Maybe it's because I'm presenting next.
I think
I'm,
it's because you're up next and it's been a while, huh?
oh my gosh. Well, everything, when I present, I usually try to push every button and, it scares I'm going to be using a remote control. I'm going to be using a joystick. I've got some software here I'm going to show. So I'm probably going to break something, but that's what makes it fun in my
It
opinion.
wouldn't
So
be
we'll
an
see.
event or a live stream from PTZOptics if we didn't break something. It's
um,
part of the brand.
but yeah,
Don't
I
jinx
mean,
us.
if I guess it looks like we have a tiny bit of extra time. Maybe I'll show something.
I wanted
Uh,
to preview our newest product too. Don't forget about that.
yeah. Well, really quickly, let me just show. This is something really cool I wanted to share. Is this new camera management software that our team has developed, and it's totally free. And if you have a PTZ Optics camera, of even the older generation of Gen 2, you can give it auto tracking control with this. So I'm going to go over this in my presentation, but this is we're showing here 4 cameras. Looks like I got you there twice, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Let me switch that. But this is a really cool software, not just for um, giving your camera auto tracking capabilities, but also for color correcting. So we can color correct 4 cameras side by side here. I'm going to go over this in more detail in our presentation, but you can not only can you color match these cameras, but you can actually download the colors from one camera and upload them to another, and you can create little color markers to get the exact blue right or the exact red that you're working with, and then um, cross-reference them. So you got a lot of power in this software I wanted to share, but I'll
When's
go
that
over
coming out?
that in our presentation. It's coming out soon, and not to mention, it's totally free, and you can learn more at ptzoptics.com/cmp, right? That's what it's called. So I'm excited. I'm going to be showing that off. Probably going to be using a joystick controller in a little bit to control some cameras. I'm going to be showing off auto tracking so that the cameras can just follow a specific person on stage. I'll be going over low lighting. So
That's a tricky one.
we have some footage, and maybe I'll do a little spoiler here, but we have some footage of a really, really dark house of worship here in Pennsylvania where we just turned on 2 candles.
That was it?
Just 2 candles.
Turned on
And
or lit?
well, they were lit. Well, I think they were yeah, they were lit candles, so we didn't turn them on. We lit them up. And then we adjusted the camera for low light, and it literally looks like there's lights on. So I'm excited to go over some of the things that you can do to shoot video and really look good in low light scenarios.
Arc Imaging says, hurry with the new software, just what we need.
Yes, and literally, you can join the beta and get it access to it. Hopefully, we'll get you that. We'll go over it today, and we're hoping it'll be available for free this month.
Hopefully. And what camera are you going to be using to demonstrate all those cool features?
Yeah, so I'm going to be using a Move 4K in just a little bit. And in fact, I think we have a little video we're going to play about it. And I'm going to show auto tracking. I'm going to show joystick control. And then something else that I think is really helpful for a lot of AV media technicians is thinking about a scene. And if you have 1 camera, or 2 cameras, depending on what you're doing, or more, I'm going to show you guys today how you can set up a scene and have multiple PTZ cameras go to a specific place with one click of a button of a SuperJoy, the PTZ Optics joystick. But you can also do that with OBS and with vmix, just with one click, whether you're using your Stream Deck or a different device, to get all your cameras to go to one scene. And the reason why that's cool is whether you're transitioning scenes to a baptism or for a wedding, but also just to set your cameras back to normal, right?
Mhm.
Back to the original location after whatever the volunteers or whatever is done during the worship service, to just have one button to set everything back to, the scene that kind of sets you in place. Saves a lot of time for setup and really helps kind of organize your productions. So I'm really excited about that. The auto tracking is really, really cool. I can't wait to show you. Tessa's going to be here to
I'll
help
help
me
you
with
out.
that.
I got you.
And I'm even going to set you up in a very dark chair, Tess.
Uh-oh.
A very, very dark chair, so that
What
I
is he
can
getting me into?
use the gain and the iris to make it look like you're not in a dark chair
Okay.
for low light settings. And I'm trying to think, what was the other thing? Oh, and I'm going to show how to create different profiles for cameras. So
That's a big
if
one.
you're a house of worship and you stream every Sunday at 9 a.m. Well, most of the time you're going to have light, natural light coming through, and it's probably pretty bright. But then from time to time, as we all know, there's holiday services, right? There's a Christmas service, and it's a night service, right? And the lighting is significantly different. We're talking about fluorescent light or light that is, artificial, right? Not from the sun coming through the windows. And we could set a different profile for that, and literally with a click of a button, change all the settings in the camera to look good for daylight and look good for low light or or artificial light, right? The lights that we turn on with the flick of a switch that are powered by electricity. So we'll take a look at setting up those settings, and with a click of a button, we'll be able to prepare all of your cameras to be set. And it really just, a lot of advancements have come out in the past couple months that I'm excited to show.
Bright, light, or at night, the Move 4K will make it right.
Wow. Did you come up with that?
I came up with that because you were just rhyming a lot. You're like, yeah, in a bright situation or whatever the light is, and even at night.
I like it.
Wow.
David is asking what time Paul will be doing the low light presentation, and about 12:10 we're hoping to start with his sessions. So we're just we're just chatting up until then.
Great. Well, there's a quick little video about the Move 4K we'll play, and then I'm going to jump right into it since we have some extra time.
Awesome. Let's cue that video, Mike, and take a look at the Move 4K.
Introducing the new PTZ camera from PTZOptics, the Move 4K, designed with the future in mind. Featuring built-in auto tracking capabilities, the Move 4K offers an intelligent video production workflow, freeing teams of the need for a camera operator. And with resolution up to 4K at 60 frames per second and an upgraded Sony CMOS sensor, you can prepare your setup for the future while still accommodating HD and Full HD equipment. Every Move 4K camera features SDI, HDMI, USB, and IP output, and comes native with NDI HX3 for unparalleled performance and versatility. And with the camera's PoE Plus capabilities, one Ethernet cable can do it all. Audio, video, power, and camera control. Available in 12x, 20x, and 30x optical zoom, the Move 4K line can track subjects up to 300 feet away, ideal for houses of worship, virtual learning, entertainment, and more. The camera also includes a built-in tally light to keep talent and production in sync during any video broadcast. The Move 4K features some of the most advanced auto tracking in the industry, with the ability to lock onto a specific person even while others are in frame. Users can switch between participants with just a click of a button. For improved ease of use, Move 4K operators have access to the new web UI from PTZOptics, which provides easy access to features like image adjustments, presets, SRT streaming, and MIDI control, all in one simple menu. And as always, the Move 4K comes with PTZOptics' industry-leading 5-year warranty and award-winning support. The latest in PTZ camera technology is finally here. Prepare your video production setup for the future with the Move 4K from PTZOptics. The entire Move 4K line is now available from any of our trusted resellers, starting at just $1,979 MSRP. For more information on the camera features and where to buy, visit ptzoptics.com/move-4K.
All right.
All right. I am excited for this presentation. Thanks again, everybody, for being here. And I'm using a Move 4K camera right now, so this is really exciting. And I also wanted to mention that if your house of worship is not ready to move to 4K, we actually have and are announcing, we're not shipping yet, but we're announcing the Move SE, the standard edition version that's only 1080p, which is a little bit more affordable. So it's about half the price. So something to think about when you're planning your video productions. But the Move 4K and this Move series that we've just released is really cool. And one of the awesome features that we really wanted to have here was built-in auto tracking. So what I'm going to do is start the auto tracking, and you can see it's asking if it would like to select me, but I can also select Lindsay over there. Or if Tess is in the frame, I can actually select Tess. And this is just really cool because what it allows you to do
Pick one
is
of us.
select a single person. I'm going to pick myself here and follow them. So I want to just show how great that is. So what we can do is when auto tracking starts, the camera will call something called preset 0. So when I hit auto tracking, boom, it's going to go right here, right? It's going to select me, and that's great. So for a lot of our customers, they may want to have preset 0 set at the podium of the stage. So what will happen is you turn auto tracking on, and it's going to zoom in to a specific area and recognize that person. And one of the great things about this is it's not going to worry about any other people. It's literally, it knows the person you have selected to automatically track, and it will track them anywhere they go on stage. So even if you're trying to hide from the camera, it's going to follow that person. I've actually got a really funny video of our friend Tom Sinclair at the Grace Anglican Church, literally running back and forth and trying to trick the camera, running as fast as he can. It's going to follow you. So it's one of the reasons why the Move 4K cameras are so great is because it's built-in auto tracking. So it's not requiring any software. So that's why it's so smooth and it's able to track, and it's also able to tell the difference between people who are in the scene, which is important. So if there's a choir or anyone out there, it's going to automatically track. Now, as an AV team member, right, having the ability to track a single person really kind of relieves the need to be on a joystick, right? And it'll automatically zoom in, as you see here. It'll automatically follow the person. And now you can spend more time on ProPresenter, right? You can spend more time on the video production pieces of your setup. So you can create more unique scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down at my desk now as we kind of demonstrate this camera's capabilities. And I want to switch to a little presentation. I have some funny videos I want to share and kind of talk about how great this system really is. So first of all, I've got a video here I want to share from Tom Sinclair. And I'm guessing Mike has this video that's coming into production. And here it is here. So this is Tom at Grace Anglican Church, and his church was one of the first places to get the Move 4K cameras. And he was just setting it up. This is a pretty standard setup where a lot of pastors like to walk around. In fact, the first question I want to ask everyone is, does your pastor or leader at the church, do they move around a lot? Is this normal for you, or are they stationary? Because actually, at our church in the Presbyterian Church in Westchester, our pastor actually doesn't move around that much. She stays put. So we'll see. We're looking for a new pastor. Maybe the next one will be like to move around a little more. But you can see here how important it is to do that. Now, once you have the camera auto tracking like that, now you can start to follow the scene and maybe cut into a different scene, and that's what I'm going to kind of show. Now, another thing a lot of people ask us, and I want to show this, is what is it like to have a 30x optical zoom camera in a house of worship? And you can actually get these Move 4K cameras with auto tracking capabilities with 30x optical zoom, meaning they can track someone from up to 300 feet away. Now, this is the Abington Presbyterian Church And their 30x camera is mounted at the back of the sanctuary, and it's about 150 feet from this beautifully carved wooden cross. Now, when you're zooming into something from this far away, you're doing something that we call image magnification. And image magnification is a really, really cool thing. And what image magnification is the ability to take a detail, something beautiful within your sanctuary, and show it to people larger than life, larger than they would be able to see with their own eyes. And that was a huge breakthrough for a lot of churches, a big eye opener to say, wow, I can zoom in on things inside the church, like this beautifully painted, or not beautifully painted, beautifully made um, areas of this house of worship. This is a view of Jesus on a this is stained glass here, and you can see the details of the stained glass and what was created here better with the 30x PTZ camera. I'm going to pause it here for a second. You can see this. The congregation at Abington Presbyterian Church had never seen how beautiful this was. It was made 100 years ago, and now we're seeing it on a giant projector, seeing details of things that just literally no one had ever seen before. I mean, you could see it, but to see it in such detail, like the detail and the artistry in this, and this is just a real example of the 30x optical zoom. And then when you show that in 4K, which the PTZOptics Move 4K cameras are capable of, you really capture some beautifully crisp spaces. And this was just such a beautiful church. And I know many of us here probably have a favorite church or a beautiful church that we like to go to just to look at the beautiful windows or the way that the church was built. And this is one specifically that is one of my favorites. And I just wanted to show just some real live examples. And this is just a real example of using a PTZ camera, and we were zooming in with it. There's a little bit of a shake because it was on a tripod, but you can see how you can uncover some of these details. And there's probably certain areas of your house of worship that during certain times of the year you can zoom into and show people, some of the details and what, like for example, these stained glass windows. There's one for 6 or 8 saints, patron saints, and each one of these patron saints are celebrated throughout the year. So you have the ability to kind of highlight beautiful places of your church. And I really believe that by doing something like this, you're going to not only be able to reach more people to come into the church. So if you're showing them the beautiful details of the space, it's going to encourage them to come in more. So that was you saw that clip a little earlier with Tom Sinclair. I got another clip. We went out and showed, I sped this clip up a little bit. So I think this is at 200% speed here. But again, I wanted to show just how versatile it is to have an auto tracking camera and selecting the person that you want it to follow so that it will follow them wherever they go. And this video in a second here is going to follow me almost 360 degrees. So not completely towards the back, but I wanted to just show in this scenario, this gives a pastor a lot of leeway. And the Abington Presbyterian Church is a good example here, where they have a baptismal area over here where you can walk all the way to, and then they have a large stage, which clearly this camera is covering well. And then they have other areas of the church that it will automatically track fully left to right, and really automate the live stream. And a lot of actually houses of worship that we work with actually live stream directly from the cameras. So you can set up an auto tracking camera, set it up to track your pastor, and literally live stream directly from the camera. And it really simplifies the setup. And I'll spare you this part of the project where I play piano, because that's a bit much. So I'm going through my presentation here, and let me get to the next spot here, where I wanted to talk about simplifying the technology. So obviously auto tracking is going to simplify the technology. Image magnification that we were showing earlier is really powerful. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk a little bit about camera control and some best practices there. We have some free guides on that as well. And then I want to talk about using low light. And I have some live video here that I'm going to jump into and some best practices for working with low light. In fact, our team put together a PDF guide called PTZOptics.com/get-started, where it gives you some starting points. Now, every church is different, but some really good starting points for setting up low light. So that's the thing I want to show next. Now, a friend of mine sent me this footage from his house of worship. And you can see here, so these two videos are playing. That's live video. On the right side here, this is the actual lighting. So it is a very dark house of worship. That is what it looks like. There are 2 candles. Now, on the left-hand side, you are seeing the footage from a PTZ Optics Move 4K camera. So with that lighting on the right. So you can see what you can do by adjusting the gain and the contrast and opening up the iris. So I know it almost looks like too good to be true here. Let me see. There's some motion, I think, towards the end here. He waves his hands around. That is literally almost in complete darkness. And I want to show how to achieve that and some of the best practices that we have for getting that good of a lighting even at a candlelight service. So, Tess, we have a camera setup, I think, for you. So this is your moment. I'm gonna pull you in here with this camera right next to me. So I'm gonna pull that camera in, and we're gonna show it to you, to everybody here. And I am going to, let's see here. It's not the side camera. It is this one. Okay. So this camera here is currently on Lindsay, and I'm gonna zoom it out. There we go. And I am going to show you guys where we have Tess. Tess is in the darkest area of our studio. So this is as dark as it gets. It's not lit for this space. I wanted to just kind of show you guys what it's going to look like. All right. So that's pretty dark, right? So we're going to see what we can do with this space here, Tess. First thing I'm going to do is get you in focus. So I'm going to lock your focus in. All right. I think I've got you in focus there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys some of the best practices and options for tuning the camera's lighting. Now, just to show again really quickly, I'm going to show this. This is a guide that you can get at PTZOptics.com/get-started. And it's designed for PTZ Optics cameras, but I think the basics of what I want to show you today should work with almost any camera. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into this camera's web UI. And this process would be similar if you're using a PTZ Optics camera or if you are using a PTZ Optics Gen 2 or a regular PTZ Optics camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow my guide here, and I'm going to open up the on-screen menu, which you can kind of see there. I'm going to see if I can zoom this in a little bit, actually. I guess you got to see everything. So go to the image here. And what I'm going to do is I have 2 different profiles over here on the left side here. You see I have studio setting and I have low light setting. So right now it's in a setting that's designed for the studio. So if I hit continue here, just to confirm, this is the studio settings in this camera. So studio setting would be nice light. Everything is evenly lit. What we're going to do is we're going to go to a low light setting, and I'm going to walk you through getting there. But once it's done, you can save that profile, and just with a click of a button, I'll do it really quickly just to show. With a click of a button, we can get completely changed the lighting. And so now, once that's done, watch this. Look how Tess looks now. And I'll get rid of the menus. So just with one click, without even doing much here, I've pretty much fixed my entire lighting issue. But I want to show you just from a workshop perspective how I got there and explain some of the things you can do, because I know a lot of our customers work in low light. So this is the camera currently. This is the image currently. It's dark, right? And it's set up. This is what you would probably see in a dark scenario. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by adjusting what we call luminance. And so the first thing I'll do is I will change the brightness here. I'm actually going to change it to 8. And I'm going to increase the saturation to 90. I'm going to take the contrast down to 6 and the sharpness at 8. Sometimes you don't want to be quite as sharp as you are with a lot of light than you are with low light, because sharpness will add some 3D or some noise in the image. Now in the exposure, I have auto, and that's okay, but we're going to turn the exposure compensation off. Or I'm sorry, we're going to turn it on, and we are going to change that to backlight to on. We're going to turn the gain up to 10. And this is where you're going to see a big difference there. So now, when we look at this image, we're seeing it a lot nicer. And let me go to my production so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. So now the image, once we turned up the gain here to 10, it's looking really, really nice. And let's see what else we can do here. So we're going to go into color. And we're going to take the red balance up to 3. And the blue is okay at -2. I am colorblind. I'm just going to follow. I'm going to hit the apply button. I'm going to follow my my guide here. And then the focus mode is in manual. Let's turn that into auto here. And there's a new button called Snap Focus that you can click just to snap it into focus no matter where you are. But there we go. Now, once this is done, what we can do is we can save this. Now, I've already done this, but we would say like low light 2, let's just say. And we just hit all these buttons here, and then we hit save. And what we'll see here when we refresh this page is we've got a brand new profile right there. So that's how, with the click of a button, we can change between a low light setting and a lot of light setting, and really change things up quickly and easily. Now, I know that color balancing is something that, if you have multiple cameras, sometimes you want to get the colors just right. So now I'd like to take a quick look at, and how am I doing on time, Tess? Okay, so I have about 5 or 10 minutes left. Yeah, I think I have 10 minutes left. So what I've set this up here, this is the PTZOptics camera management platform. And one of the really cool things with this platform, as soon as you open it, you can hit the add camera button, and boom, it's going to find all the cameras on your network. You can select them and add them into this platform. And this is totally free. This software will not only allow you to color balance and color match your cameras really nicely, but it also will add auto tracking to all the PTZOptics Gen 2 cameras that are out there. So as you click, so right now I'm looking at it in a 4x4, but you can look at it in a 1x1, a 2x2, a 3x3, or a 4x4. So as we're setting these up, one of the nice ways to do it is you click a space, you choose a camera, and then you choose what you want to do with it. And the cool thing is you might want to PTZ control it on one, and you might want to do color settings on another. So I'll just get all 4 of these cameras by clicking where you want it to go. And I'm going to set them all for color settings just for now for this example. Okay. Now, Tessa's sitting in the dark, but she doesn't look too dark anymore, does she? She looks actually pretty good. Not quite as dark as you'd think. Now, one of the cool things about this setup is that we can actually color drop the blue on Tessa's dress, for example, and get the RGB value. So why would that be important? Well, let's say we have 2 different cameras And I think I hope this won't mess up Mike, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a second camera pointed towards your blue dress, Tess. Let's see here. Oh, now this is going to be a horrible example actually, because, and the reason why is because I'm still going to do it this example, but the reason why is because your blue is going to look a lot different on this camera that we have changed so much for low light than, yeah. So maybe, because we have a little extra time and we're just familiarizing ourselves with this tool, maybe we'll focus on Lindsay since she's already in really good lighting. But you can see how you can quickly and easily switch between color control and PTZ zoom. The other thing I want to mention is that the video feeds coming into this camera management platform, which honestly don't look bad, are a low bandwidth video feed. So you still can use the NDI feed and you can still use the NDI feed or any other IP feed. This is a low bandwidth feed, so it doesn't tax the computer or the camera, but it also provides a decent video feed, so it's not as high quality as you would in your main production. Exactly. Like, that's why you'll see a little bit of graininess, maybe a little bit of, no, that's fine. Lost frames. Oh, this one. Okay, so there. Whoop! It's not going the right way at all, is it? All right. That's a good point. Yeah, because I'm kind of jumping around here. Now, one thing, so this right here, what we're looking at right here is the web UI. Now, when you get a PTZOptics camera, you can go to PTZOptics.local, and it'll automatically find your camera, even if you haven't set up the IP address. Or you can, we've changed this to be called sidecamera.local. And so you can get these like really easy to remember local IP addresses to reach it. But this is the web UI. And what I'm going to do quickly, just because I realized, is I'm going to set this up for studio lighting so that at least these two cameras are close, because it's obviously a little blown out. But with one click, boom, we've now got this camera going from a low light setting to a studio setting. And then this software here is the CMP, the camera management software, separate from the UI. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some color settings. So now I've got you, Lindsay, in two different spaces. Here we go. And I can create a marker on your green sweater. What color is it? What color is yours? Orange? Okay, your orange. My color blindness will come out in all kinds of different ways. Okay, so now here's the other one over here. And yep, there you are. And now again, I'm going to drop a color marker over here on your shirt. Now why is this so valuable? Because now we can see the red, green, and blue values, and we can go in here to the color settings and say, you know what? We might really want to adjust the red. Now, I'm horrible at this because I'm colorblind, so this is really going to mess it up. But what we want to do is say, okay, the blue is a little too high on this one, I can see. So let's turn the blue down again. And let's turn it down. And you can see it will adjust those color settings. So you can really get in here and do a good job. The other thing you could do is you can download the profile, all of the settings from one camera that you say, this camera is correct. This camera looks really good with the color settings that I've done. You can go ahead and save it. So we'll call this, best settings, and go ahead and save it. And then you can upload it to any other camera. So then you can actually take the settings from the other camera and load it onto the next camera. So really, really cool. And that is how that works. So just wanted to show how that works as you're color adjusting multiple PTZOptics cameras. And then, from a high level, you have this dashboard where you can keep an eye on the cameras. You can check out the color settings and, of course, PTZ control up to 4 cameras at the same time. And it also supports USB connected Xbox controllers and X keys devices and things like that. So really cool piece of software here. Just wanted to show off the CMP. Now I think I'm really running out of time. So I've got a couple final things here I wanted to mention in my presentation. Hopefully I'll have some time for Q&A as well, and I'll go into that breakout room in a minute here. We showed the auto tracking, but I wanted to show you the importance of using a joystick controller and thinking about scenes. And one thing that the PTZOptics SuperJoy allows you to do, besides controlling any NDI camera or maybe older Sony cameras or serial connected cameras, but you can set up custom buttons. And I want to make sure that people know that you can do this with OBS. You can do this with vmix. You can do this with wirecast. I'm going to show it with the SuperJoy. But it's something to think about. If you have PTZ cameras, you can automate the pan, tilt, and zoom controls into a single movement and get everything set for you with a single click. And so this is an example of using custom button 1 to set all 4 cameras to go to the baptism area, or move all 4 cameras to center stage, or move all 4 cameras to a special right scene area. And that just makes setup so much easier, especially if you've maybe got one auto tracking camera following the pastor or congregation leader, and then you've got 2 or 3 other cameras where you can just move them all at once to the scene of interest. And it just makes the job of your video producer that much easier. So whether, and I know a lot of smaller organizations actually start, gathering in local high schools and stages, for example. And so you can set up PTZ cameras on tripods and use a stage, for example, to go stage left, stage right. And if you're having a performance or a drummer or a band member, you can move all the cameras at once. So that is my presentation. Do you think I did okay, Tess?